We are in San Margherita, Liguria in the Sailing Festival, an occasion for us to try the BALI 4.0 catamaran and the 10-meter day sailor from Cesari. We are on board Take Your Time, BALI 4.0 of the Catania French shipyard, the entry level of a range of cruising catamarans from 40 to 45 feet. Catamarans have the great credit of solving one of the big problems of sailing, that of living on board, and this perhaps is better than others. Let's also find out why. There are four things that struck me on board this catamaran: the bow seating area, the convertible dinette aft, the refrigerator like you would find in a home, and the position of the steering. We're in the bow dinette. This space alone is worth a 2-week vacation or even the purchase of this boat. The continuity of this space on board is also demonstrated by this window. It opens to the kitchen and the dinette. The spaces aboard the BALI 4.0 are used in an extremely intelligent way, as shown by the stern boundary that lifts out of the way, turning this environment into an incredibly sized open air loft. Another distinguishing feature on this catamaran, a real refrigerator from home, hard to find on a 12-meter boat. The wheelhouse of the BALI 4.0 is an authentic flying bridge with a technical area for the helmsman and ample space for the guests. These modern cruising catamarans represent the ideal meeting point between two worlds, as far as that of the engine and that of the sail. One of the characteristics of a catamaran is their maneuverability. BALI 4.0 is able to rotate about itself in a few seconds. Today's trial catamaran has 4 large cabins and 4 bathrooms, properly catering to 8 guests, ideal for a charter or for a large family. We have come back to the quay after an exit to the sea where the boat demonstrated excellent quality, both motor and sail, but overall it highlighted a fantastic feature of the catamarans, that is stability. It hasn't spilled a drop.
Catania noi conosciamo tutti come il catamarano nato.
Catania we know as the catamaran born to go around the world, with its fusion carbon construction, with its daggerboards, and so on. At a certain point they decided to enter the cruising catamaran world and have done great, with BALI turning out over 3 models over a year and a half. We are waiting for the 4th, which will be 5.8, and they did so by breaking all the rules. They did it with what you have seen today, the bow cockpit, eliminating the nets. The nets were needed when the catamarans were low on water, but are now not needed anymore. They did it with this tilting aft boundary, creating a unique environment, so Catania, which is a leader in the performance market we say, wanted to enter the cruising catamaran, the catamaran family, or charter, or whatever you want, for all uses, even here breaking the rules. A brand like Catania could not afford to follow or chase others. We're on board Capita, the R30 built by the shipyard de Cesari, Cervia, a 10-meter mahogany lamella that does not need an instruction manual. Two main characteristics of this boat, its innovative helm, and the second we'll discover at the end of the test. The birth of this project was the fruit of the commitment and ingenuity of the three main players. The shipyard di Cesari Cervia, a young man of 82, very talented designer named Alessandro Camuzzi, and of course the owner, a Milanese who believed in the drawings on the table of this new designer. Despite appearances and latest fashions, this boat is built entirely of triple mahogany planking, the composite material for excellence. The beauty of this carbon wheel is not just a cosmetic issue, but also has a practical function, namely to allow a smooth transit from the bow to the stern of the boat. All the R30's manoeuvres are delayed and repeated in the helmsman's position. Even the self-tacking jibs allow it to operate with a reduced crew or even alone. The search for a balanced design within an unstable element, which a sailboat is, Capita finds itself a solution for the helmsman, a solution for the balance of the helm, thanks to these two buttons. In fact, you can control the helmsman's footrest, correcting the heeling angle. The second feature of this boat, which distinguishes the DNA, is in fact decidedly unique. This boat was designed and built to be fully accessible for disabled persons.